COVID booster vaccine. And additionally, we are also recommending our patients who are pregnant to also receive the COVID booster vaccines. And for me, it's super important, not only as a healthcare provider, but because I'm also pregnant and want to make sure that my pregnancy is as safe as possible.
Yes, you can achieve a college education right here in your own community. Harcum College's ACE program at the Deliverance Evangelistic Church offers associate degree programs that can help you land a good job and improve your quality of life.
I like Harcum and Debbie because I can continue my education.
The teachers are great. The atmosphere is great.
It's all possible through iLead and Harcum.
Call now or check out our Facebook page at Harcum College at Deliverance Evangelistic Church.
How old is he? Say 10 months. 10 months, and he's got Pick TV at 10 months old. Look at that. That's our brand new member of the Pick TV network, folks. He is so happy.
He is a good happy baby.
Wow. Go Pick TV.
We've all been hurt at some point, even abandoned. Many of us have done the hurting ourselves. We get to the point where we don't trust anyone, nor do we feel worthy of being loved by anyone. Then there's that one person who just doesn't give up on loving you. Their love is unconditional. Their love stays long enough for you to heal. promise to never leave. That's love you can count on. God's love.
Can't hear you.
Say thank you again. Thank you again for tuning in to our brand new broadcast today, folks. My name is David Evans from Washington, D.C. Want to give a lot of love out to our audience, checking us out on our brand new hit show. Thank you, everybody, for watching the PIC TV network. This prison freedom show was birthed to showcase people who may have been in prison and out of prison, and those who are helping people along the way. This is our episode number 2. And I want to thank you guys for checking us out, listening, and being a part of this show on tonight. I'm going to bring in my special guest host that's going to do this with me tonight. Brother O, you guys, a lot of guests on tonight. I want you to come on up and introduce your guest that's on the screen with us tonight, my brother.
All right, it's my pleasure. Of course, if you've been watching the PIC TV network, you've seen me. My name is Orion Metal. I'm a member of NAFI, which is the National Alliance for the Empowerment of Formerly Incarcerated. And I'm also a member of PNAP, which is the Prison and Neighborhoods Arts and Education Project out of Northeastern Illinois University. Wonderful guest here. My first guest is Celia Colon, and she is the founder of GOD, or G-O-D, which is an acronym for Giving Others Dreams, a nonprofit organization that provides reentry services and holistic support programming to newly released justice-impacted women. The organization aims at promoting healing and the empowerment of women and seeks to reduce gender-based violence and recidivism amongst women. Yes. So it's my pleasure to bring you Miss Celia Colon. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing great. I just want to thank you guys for this opportunity, for this space, for the work that you guys are doing. My heart is with you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing me on to talk about the work that's being done in my community, being done in the city of Chicago. There's so many phenomenal people that have turned their, pain into power and are out here doing healing work, like myself. Like you said, I am the founder of GOD, and GOD was founded out of and birthed out of my pain and my own personal experiences, right? I'm someone who is justice impacted. I've been justice impacted my entire life. I grew up, I remember entering a prison at the age of 4 and being traumatized. I have an uncle that's serving natural life that's still inside of a Michigan prison today. And, I've, as someone who is, a woman who grew up in poverty and with a mother with mental health issues, I've been around violence my whole life. I've been traumatized, re-traumatized. I grew up in the prison system. Went to jail at 17, went to prison at 18, had to do a 15-year sentence while I was still a baby, that was suffering from unhealed trauma myself, from my, from my childhood experiences. And for me, when I left prison and I was given an opportunity to travel, through my job that I had gotten through a reentry program at Roosevelt University, because back in the 90s, they had colleges, we had Pell Grants and things like that. And Roosevelt University used to have a satellite school inside of Dixon, Illinois, where I was at. And I was in their business class before the grants got pulled out. And I'll never forget the relationships you make, right? And it was a couple professors and people that were there that were like, hey, we got a reentry program at Roosevelt University. When you come home, come look for us and we'll help you, restart life. And it's about having them support networks that are very fundamental in your, your structure of surviving this oppressive system that we're locked in forever when you're justice impacted as a family. So I ended up going there. When I came home, I had no supports. I had, a lot of different unique challenges that men don't have versus women coming home. 90% of us are we're the primary caregivers of our children. We're the moms. And sometimes we're lucky that our children are with family when we go to prison. And sometimes we're not so lucky. And when children end up, in foster care or in DCFS care, ward of the state, and there's a lot of harm that happens that people don't talk about when that happens, right? Just a child being pulled away from their mother. Those ACEs that occur that we're supposed to be avoiding but happen. And because of that, all of those things and all of the unique barriers that women have that society is still not catering to, that society is still not supporting women like they should, it's because of that I came home and was able to travel internationally. I started working for a research center, and in the short time that I had worked there, I had came in as a cleaner, but of course I wasn't going to stay a cleaner. So, every time the bell rang and it was time to leave, I would go behind one of the research and ask them, how can I help you? And I learned their job. One of them was pregnant, couldn't travel abroad. They were sick. And that was my opportunity. And I was on parole, but because it was mandatory for my job, leaving the country, this is a girl from South Chicago, never left the hood. And now I'm going abroad, right? And I went to the Bahamas, and I was on this ferry going to Naza, to Paradise Island, where I started thinking about all the women that I had left behind that had a story like me or even worse, that was still full of trauma, unhealed trauma, being traumatized, being harmed in prison. And I said, man, who goes back to help them? Who goes and teaches them the system to success? Who goes to support them? Because you see all these, life coaches and motivational speakers all around the world, healers, but none of them are inside the prisons where healing really needs to happen and where people are constantly being harmed. So that's where GOD was birthed. God gave me dreams and passions to experience the world in a whole different way. And because of those experiences and because I knew life could be different, I never stopped fighting for a different life. I created a life that I wanted for myself, for my family, one that I'm very proud of. And it's because of those experiences I decided that I would be the one to never leave my sisters behind. And I started going back behind the walls in 2001. GOD was always a ministry. It was July 8th, 2020, during the pandemic, that I turned it into a 501c3. Unfortunately, that same year, my little sister was shot and killed the day before her birthday. And it put everything on hold for me. But my work still continued. One thing that I'm always prideful that we do is provide basic needs for women when they come home. The best investment you can make is in people. So we have something called the We Win Welcome Home Care Package. It provides 60 days of basic needs. So everything that you would need when you move into your apartment to clean your apartment, from garbage cans to laundry baskets, the whole nine. We provide those things. It's about a $350 welcome home care package to just help them with the first 60 days to put stuff back on a shelf. We're talking about families that are impacted, not just a person. In Chicago alone, there's only 15 neighborhoods and zip codes that people come home to. And they're on the west side and the south side. I live on the south side. I'm still here. I'm in the 25th district. And in my district alone, there's 300 people that come home a day from IDOC with little to no supports, where there's really not so much economical wealth or opportunity. So adult, cannot take care of another adult at stress, especially with women. Most of the time, women come home to their elderly parent or their sister who's been watching their kids, but also has her kids. So we have to think about that and support the whole house. So we do a barriers assessment, find out how many family members are there. And then we get, the big laundry soaps for families, right? Maybe 2 of them, because maybe there's 8 kids in the house. When we can give people their basic needs, right? Remove those stressors of listening to the chatter of when are you going to get a job and how are you going to pay for this, or you're using too much of that, people will actually absorb training and information that they need, reentry service information, job training, readiness, all of that. They'll be able to absorb healing when they get all the chatter out of their head of how can I help my family, right? We're not coming home with money in our pockets. We don't have jobs. We're still trying to just be home. And then we also provide them with 14 interview attire outfits, 5 or 6 pairs of shoes, purses. We give them their first bouquet of flower. We give them a basket of fresh fruit. The whole thing is that we go to them because we're dealing with people with trauma. So we come to them, the village shows up. We have a note that says, we love you, welcome home. We have resources. My number has been the same number since I've been home for 21 years. So I give it out. I tell them, text me anytime. I'm always in a meeting, but I'm always available via text. And we provide a safe, supportive, healing network that changes things for people. When you come home and you tell them, I'm here, no disparities, no judgment, just here to move you forward with the village, right? With people who've been through what you've been through and know what it feels like to be discriminated, know what this feels like mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And they see that you are successful and that you're out here creating change. They also become empowered, and it changes things for people. And that's the thing that kills me. It's like we spend $90 billion in the prison industry, harming people, collecting data for years what are we doing with the data? We know it don't work. Are they just storing it in a shelf, to become part of history books and keep harming people? And then they don't talk about the generational harm with children that is constantly happening, where our children are wearing our numbers and our scars and paying our debts to society with their innocent little lives.
So I wanted to ask you a question. We know that typically the face of incarceration has been a male face. But we know that the numbers have increased over the years of women being incarcerated. Why do you think that a lot of the resources for women are not provided, and why women aren't put out there as much as when it comes to dealing with the carceral system? Why is this something that it doesn't happen often?
I think there hasn't been enough attention like there should have been and should be. The Women's Justice Institute, who I am, one on their advisory, I'm one of their advisory board members for their Children's Best Interest Act that they have going on right now, where they created a bill and it was passed to help provide an impact statement for moms before they go to prison. And that's one thing I always have championed and always was wished that somebody spoke up for my child when I left her at one, right? About the harm, like where was the medical doctor or the psychologist that was going to talk about the long-term harm that was going to happen to my child by being pulled away from her. So they just did a research study that showed that 77% of the women in IDOC in Illinois actually have crimes that could have been, where they could have been sentenced to probation or community sentencing, right? And that just blows my mind because we're constantly harming the next generation. And it's just kind of under the radar. It's always been a male kind of dominated space where all the resources and the language and the conversations have always been about the men. But we don't talk about men and women when we get pulled over. Like men don't get asked, like if you got arrested and pulled over, if you're a mom or where your kids are at. A mother and a woman will, because we're seen differently in the eyes of society, where we're supposed to wear this hat and never have flaws, and we're not supposed to be human. But yet there's very little support for women, especially women of color, who are constantly re-traumatized.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I like for you, lastly, before I hand it over to Dr. Evans, to emphasize the differences that women face pertaining to social barriers and social disabilities coming home from prison as opposed to what men face.
So one of the biggest things for me that just tears my heart apart, no one talks about the DCFS system, this monster that's stealing children, right? So it becomes unbearable for women when we come home and our children are with the system, are with a foster care system, right? So women coming home, if your kids are with the state, you're going to have supervised visits that you have to attend. If you don't attend, you show like you're a mom that doesn't care, and doesn't want to be reunificated with their children. You have to take parenting classes. You have to take anger management classes. So now you're a woman who just came home. The jobs that are available usually are warehouse jobs. I'm a woman. I'm sorry. I don't want to carry 40, 50 pounds, 8 hours a day. So now I'm a woman. I have to tell my boss, who might just got a tax write-off for hiring me. He doesn't really care that he's helping me, right? I have to tell him that I have to take off once a week to go do these supervised visits, that I got to take off, twice a week, maybe a half a day to go do parenting. So then I don't keep my job. So now DCFS says, hey, you have to have a job. You have 3 kids, so you need 3 bedrooms on minimum wage. But yet every job I have, I'm being forced to choose between my children and keeping this job. As a mom, I would die for my kids. My kids are always going to win. So therefore, every job I get, I end up getting fired because I'm asking to take off maybe once or twice a week in my first 90 days home. So to the courts, I look irresponsible. I can't keep a job. DCFS, I can't keep a job. I can't get an apartment because I can't keep a job. To the job people that are trying to hire me, I look real irresponsible. I'm this lady with this X on her back. I'm a double minority. I'm a woman of color. I'm constantly being re-traumatized because I'm asked about why I went to prison and why I did this. And you're not hiring that person. You're hiring the skills that I have today. Why are you asking me about something that happened 27 years ago that I can't really tell you anyway because I don't remember. But yet there's this struggle that nobody talks about. I have a woman right now that I've been helping for 3 years. Her kids are in DCFS temporary custody. Why? She's about to lose them because she can't comply with everything. But again, it's a system that's set up the way it's set up to keep us locked, to keep us to fail, to keep the numbers coming in and creating new numbers by creating generational harm, by continuing to harm our children.
Thank you, Ms. Cologne, for your testimony and for all your hard work that you've been putting in the community. I know that I had seen you find housing for a woman actually some months back, and when I talked to Dr. Evans and we were talking about how we needed a woman to come in because most of the time we end up finding men, and the issues that women have while they're incarcerated and coming home from being incarcerated are often overlooked. And so the first person that I thought about was you, and that's why I had reached out to you, because I had seen the work that you were doing. And I was with you last year when we were last July 3rd, actually, when we were at Cook County, and we were having our Independence Day for those who were returning citizens. So thank you for your work, and I commend you for all that you've been through, and even enduring that through your loss.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much, and you were there last year. That's the first thing I harped on, the generational harm. We don't talk about that enough, There's one other thing that I wanted to talk about, the generational harm. So I have one of my captains, one of my, workers who works with me in this field, has a nephew that applied to be an FBI agent, passed the physical, passed the psychological, but when it came to background, because he was related to somebody who had a criminal background, he was not given the opportunity to join the force. Generational harm. When does it end? When can we be fully free? Thank you.
Dr. Evans, is there anything you'd like to add? You're muted, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm just listening to you this interview, man. I'm just so happy, to see you guys talking, man, and to have you to spearhead and co-host this show with me and bring on these great folks, to talk about this brand new hit show, the Prison Freedom TV show. When I came up with this show, folks, I didn't know it was going to be this big, first of all. Brother O has come in and he has done a great job to help bring all of these presenters on. This is our second episode. We're going to take a commercial break and he's going to bring on some more folks that's going to really, really light up this screen. So don't you touch that dial. You're watching the PIC TV network all the way from Washington, D.C., beaming it across the world, folks. And we have special guests on from the Windy City, Chicago. All right, folks, we're going to come back with a commercial. Don't touch that dial. You're on the PIC TV network. Don't forget you can chat in right now on PIC TV Network Facebook, PIC TV Network YouTube. You can chat in on Twitter right now. We are on Twitch and on the PIC TV Network channel 1000 Live. So don't forget, folks, you're watching PIC TV Network, brand new hit show. We'll come back with some more information right after this. Hi, on the PIC TV Network. Want to thank everybody for watching the PIC TV Network. Click and play www.thepictvnetwork.com. We're so happy for all of our viewers watching the PIC TV Network. And don't forget, we have a monthly TV virtual book fair where you can showcase your books, you showcase all of your products on the PIC TV Network. All you have to do is give us a call, yes, on 215-609-5255. We'll give you some information so you can be with us on our TV virtual book fair. Come on and sell your books on TV. Come on and show the world who you are on the PIC TV Network. Coming your way real soon. We're looking to see you on PIC TV Network. Don't watch TV, just be.
Hello, everyone. Did you hear the good news? What good news? The PIC TV network is now airing on Roku all over the world. Whoa, that's so cool. Now you can watch the website www.thepictvnetwork.com. Is that the one with David Evans? Yeah, David Evans is the president. So let's support the PIC TV network. Yes. Sounds good.
How old is he?
Say 10 months.
10 months, and he's got PIC TV at 10 months old. Look at that. That's our brand new member of the PIC TV network, folks. He is so happy.
He is a good happy day.
Wow. Go PIC TV.
Timmy, man, I'm popping with good vibes because the PIC TV network is on Roku with free channels. I want everybody to help my bro David Evans and PIC get it, love. Y'all, it's your boy Ro Timmy, man. I'm popping with good vibes because the PIC TV network is on Roku with free channels. I want everybody to help my bro David Evans and PIC get it, love.
Hey, the PIC TV network is on the move, everybody. I told you that we were going to touch the world. Yes, the PIC TV network, your network, the People's Investment Channel is on right now all over the world. You don't want to miss the new shows and programs. The PIC TV network, your network, the People's Investment Channel. We're here and we're going to move towards the future way of watching TV. The brand new way of bringing ordinary people on TV who's doing extraordinary things. That means our network is designed just for you and you. Those who are watching the PIC TV network, I want to thank you for going to www.thepictvnetwork.com and checking us out on Roku. Yeah, with 60 channels. We're going forward. We're moving forward. The future way of watching TV is here. The PIC TV network, the virtual way of doing shows and programs, bringing you on right through your cell phone, right through your laptop, right through your computer. We're doing the new way of doing movies, programs, shows, commercials, trailers, all on the PIC TV network. Come on, www.pictvnetwork.com. Don't play around and don't just watch TV, be on TV. PIC TV network is the place to be. I'm David Evans, your president. Yes, folks, PIC TV Network, your network right now on Roku, channel 1000 Live. We have some special guests on tonight, and I am excited. I'm so excited because this brand new television show, the Prison Freedom Show, is on the air right now. And I'm going to ask my brother O, you have some special guests on from this segment. Come on and bring them on, brother, and talk about who you got coming up next.
All right. So the next two guests I've had the pleasure of working with, and so I'll start off. The first person that I want to introduce is Professor Timothy Barnett. He is the non-traditional degree program interim director at Northeastern Illinois University. He is a professor of English for 24 years and is on the leadership team of PNAP, which is the Prison and Neighborhoods Arts and Education Project, an organization that has partnered with NDP to offer college programs such as the University Without Walls at Statefield Prison and to support formerly incarcerated students on campus. And also a member of PNAP is Brock, also known as the real Brock Kelly. She is a member of PNAP, as I said, and is a proponent for prison abolition and an advocate for other marginalized groups such as the homeless. Brock is a social worker, community organizer, and grassroots fundraiser, and is very instrumental in helping fellow PNAP members with directing them towards resources to help them individually, as well as a collective as members of the organization. And so I'd like to start first with you, Professor Barnett. I already introduced you, but could you tell us a little more about yourself, your experience, and what you've been doing with Northeastern and PNAP?
Sure. Thanks, Orion. It's great to be here. Thank you, Celia, for your story and for your work. Appreciate all your efforts. One thing that really resonated with me that you talked about was working and supporting people as part of a network, part of a village. And I think the work with PNAP that I've been a part of over the last 7 or 8 years has really made me understand the value of that kind of work as well. Being part of a larger group and seeing yourself as one of many who are working towards larger goals and working with others to try to understand this messed up system we work with and try to make it better. But we can only do that together. And by breaking down boundaries and by using education in the best kinds of ways and working across gender lines and racial lines and economic lines and all other kinds of things. So yeah, thanks, Orion. My name is Tim Barnett, and I also want to give a shout out to Benny Lee, who was on the first program. He's also a faculty member at Northeastern Illinois University, where I teach. And there is, I'll just sort of say that I think there's a lot happening at this university. We're not the most well-known university in Chicago, but we have a lot of mighty things happening, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. I've been here, this will be my 25th year. I'm finishing up this year. I grew up in Connecticut, grew up in a very white neighborhood. My parents were blue collar. My dad was a fireman, fought in World War II. My mom was a secretary, always wanted to go to college, but she was one of 6 kids. They had one boy in the family, and he was the one who went to college. And all the girls basically got married. And I think for the rest of her life, she really had hoped that she would have more options, more opportunities. But we grew up in Connecticut. As I said, working class, kind of moved our way into the middle class. When I was young, I was the youngest. And so most of my life, I can really sort of remember my family kind of just getting in there into the middle class and having friends, most of whose parents were college educated, were corporate people. So I always thought of myself sort of as, middle class, until someone reminded me somewhere in college, I think it was, when they asked me what my parents did. And they said, "Oh, you're from a working class family, huh?" And it never occurred to me that that's where I was from. And since then, I've really embraced that idea and really have used education to kind of help me understand my past and the way that, my family, like many others, have worked their way into the middle class, in part by, embracing the power of whiteness, of trying to really embrace the privileges that are given to us, ignoring often racial disparities, ignoring often poverty and various issues that are right in front of us and that are hard to miss. And yet it's part of, I think, the white middle class ethos to kind of push that off, act like it has nothing to do with us, and that we're not connected to that. And so part of, I think, what I've been doing as a faculty member at NEIU and then as a member of PNAP has been trying to sort of break down those things that I've been taught in terms of, my future is all about just me as an individual. I'm not connected to the rest of the world. And trying to really sort of rethink and relink back to the world that I am absolutely a part of and need to take responsibility for and need to work with in various ways. So I got involved with the Prison and Neighborhood Arts and Education Project about 7-8 years ago, first through my colleague Erica Miners. Erica is a pretty well-known prison abolitionist. She's known internationally as an activist, as an academic, as a scholar. She fights for women's rights. She fights against incarceration. She fights for queer rights, and across the spectrum, she is really sort of working hard in every avenue, in every place, for every person. She's been working, as I said, with prison work for 20, 25 years. We've known each other about 23 years. And she helped start the first accredited high school for people leaving prison at St. Leonard's High School, which became Sister Jean Hughes High School. Sister Jean passed away. She founded the high school with Erica probably 20 some years ago now. Sister Jean passed away about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they named the school after her. I taught at that school for a while. When Erica and Sarah Ross started PNAP in 2011, there was really nothing happening in the prisons. Like nothing, as Celia mentioned, right? Grants left in 1994 under Bill Clinton and Joe Biden and people who said, no, we don't want to educate people in prison and we don't want to give any ground there. Since then, it's been tough. It's been tough on schools and academics and others who want to teach, and most just simply left the field. Erica and Sarah went in, started PNAP. They built a coalition of faculty from across the city of Chicago, from Northwestern University, from the University of Chicago, from the University of Illinois, Chicago, NEIU, Dominican, variety of places. Just kind of went in and said, we're here, we want to teach. And they dared the prison to keep them out. It was not easy. The prison does like to keep people out, doesn't want people to see what's happening inside. But the operation grew. I got involved a few years later. And I'll just end with this in terms of my role. I started teaching at Stateville in, I guess, 2014 or 15. And Erica, this was really her idea, was thinking about how do we work with NEIU's non-traditional degree programs at Stateville. And our non-traditional degree programs, as you know, Orion is a member, a part of our University Without Walls program. There are many great things about them, but one of the really exciting pieces is that these are programs that can offer people who have significant learning, maybe learning from books that they've read on their own, books that they've read as part of community groups or book groups, knowledge that they've gotten from community activism, knowledge that they've gotten from the work, any kind of deep learning we can offer credit for, even if it's learning that's outside of school. So University Without Walls, for example, we look to people who are artists, people who are musicians, people who are business people, people who are teachers and social workers who have been doing work for years and years and years and have all the knowledge you could imagine in that field, but don't have a degree and maybe don't have a single college credit. Our program, University Without Walls, can offer people credit for that deep experience that they have and offer them an expedited way or an efficient way to get to a degree based on that deep learning they have. And again, even if it's outside of school. And there's so many people, but especially people who have been marginalized and people in prison who have deep knowledge. And I think one thing that I guess I knew, but still surprised me when I started teaching at Stateville was the depth of the legal knowledge that people had. People who had been studying the law for 10, 15, 20 years, who had represented themselves, who had represented other people, who had won motions, who had won appeals, who had some of the students we work with at Stateville have worked with politicians to help write laws. They're heavily involved in our community, despite the fact that people think of them as completely out there somewhere and separate. They're a part of our world and they're active and they're learning all the time. And so what we were able to do through PNAP classes, which we've been teaching since 2011, but which are not credited, we were able with University Without Walls to basically give a kind of credit for the classes, for the legal learning, for all the knowledge that these students had been gaining in all kinds of ways. And we had our first cohort of students start in 2017. Our first 8 all graduated in 2019, 2020. We enrolled 5 more students right around COVID. That's been a little bit tricky, of course, like it is for everybody. But those students will graduate in December, and we're bringing in 10 new students from Stateville into University Without Walls this summer. And so that's our biggest cohort, and we hope to keep going. And I'll stop there for now.
All right, thank you, Professor Barnett. So, Brock, I'd like to ask you, go into your history, your experience, and what brought you here to want to be a member of PNAP.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Grateful to be here. Celia and Tim, so much respect to both of you. Just very humbled to be in this.
Well, folks, this show is amazing. You know, it's a lot of people watching. Brother O, I want to bring you back up, man. It's amazing when you hear him talking. There we get. When you hear the presentation tonight, folks, you're watching the PIC TV network, Prison Freedom TV show. Tim, I'm just so excited, man, when I'm hearing you speak so intelligently and wanting to give back. Right behind us is the White House. I live not too far from there, and the Capitol Hill. Are we doing enough, Tim? Can we do more?
We can absolutely do more. We're not doing nearly enough. One thing that we do have in this state that PNAP was partly responsible for helping getting running, but the Education Justice Project at the University of Illinois was really responsible. It's a state task force, which is looking at the state of higher ed and prison across the state. And we know that Stateville Prison, which is maximum security, it's close to Chicago. We have, in 2011, as I said, there was nothing happening. PNAP came in, DePaul University came in with some classes. About 5 years later, North Park University started classes, and they have a master's degree program there. And about a year after that, Northwestern University came in, and they have a program. So Stateville, still not enough, but there's more there than anywhere else in the state. Most of our prisons have nothing. The state law requires GED, training, teaching, and testing. Even that, many people try to get into GED programs, and the wait list is so long. The technology doesn't work, if there's any technology at all, depending on the prison they're in. It still really is basically, despite the fact that's a law, it's really not available for most people. And college education at this point is by and large not available at all throughout the state of Illinois. So the state task force was started by people interested in changing that, including IDOC, and I give them credit, the Illinois Department of Corrections. And I'm speaking to them on Thursday, but we're trying to figure out, like, how do we build? And how do we build in places that are in farm towns, that are not close to Chicago, that are not close to multiple universities who may be interested in coming in? So there is much more. And I think the only other thing I'll add is that one thing that I've learned, and learned very well, I'd say, is that, we need to be led by people who have been systems impacted. We need to be led by people who are in the system right now and people who are outside, but who have experienced all of the tortures that our systems have to give, and who have the kinds of knowledge, the legal knowledge, the personal knowledge, the kind of analysis that someone like myself does not have. And we need to sort of really change the way we think and start, or I should say, stop looking to politicians, stop looking to academics, stop looking to, the traditional leaders, and look to the people who have been most affected to really help us find better ways. And so I think when we really decide to do more, we're going to go more and more down that path. That's happening in some places, not nearly enough, but we need more of it.
Okay, so Brock, going to you. I know that you came from Virginia. Could you tell us a little more about yourself and your experience and what brought you to PNAP?
Yeah, thank you. So moved here about 8 years ago. pretty much did actually not want to live in Chicago at all. But I'm here now. And yeah, pretty much immediately, I mean, a lot of my life growing up, I've had many loved ones who have been locked up, and that's really what has like politicized me. And so moving here, I got pretty invested in community organizing work relatively fast. I joined a group called Black and Pink Chicago. There are about 10 other chapters around the country. And so, what Celia was talking about really resonated with me too, just in terms of doing reentry work for folks. And these were specifically like queer and trans people who are getting out of prison, who do not have their immediate needs met, right? So it's like, yes, we want folks involved in organizing work, but also like they need housing and they need their basic needs met, right? And queer and trans people often have the most obstacles getting out of prison. And I'm an abolitionist, so I don't believe in prisons. I don't believe in police. I don't believe in surveillance culture. I don't believe that these systems are life affirming in any ways. Right. So it's like, how do we kind of like build this other world that we need together where people can actually get what they need to survive and to thrive? Fast forward a little, I'm in grad school now, which has been great. And Erica Miners, who Tim mentioned earlier, got me involved in PNAP as a graduate assistant. My work kind of varies, but a lot of my work is doing research and supporting students who are locked up at Stateville Maximum Security Prison with their independent study work, which has been, it's been very moving and life-changing for me, but also just really recognizing, right, that like institutions, and especially just like the educational institutions, have always been extremely violent to people. Especially like poor working class people of color. Like, for example, University of Chicago here has, I think it's like the second largest private police force in the world, right? So it's like really recognizing that these institutions, and like as a student, that they are extremely harmful. And so, right, so like me and like as a white person navigating these spaces, like how do I support folks in making these more accessible and getting the resources that people need, right? Because ultimately it's just like this pull and this struggle, because I really don't even like often believe in these institutions, right? They just want money. Like Celia, you were saying, it's all about numbers, profit. And so it's like, how do we actually just make education free for everyone and accessible for everyone, especially folks who are locked up? And I remember Monica Cosby talking about, who's like an amazing abolitionist, formerly incarcerated, doing a lot of really incredible work here in Chicago, just talking about just how like important getting any kind of access to education is inside, and how we, on the outside often just really take that for granted, even just getting like the privilege of learning and having this institution. So really just like, I think, Tim and Erica and so many others have done so much work. And I'm really interested in like how we build communities with more formerly incarcerated folks on campuses, so folks can feel less isolated, and that they can like build together. So that's some of what I've been doing.
You're muted, David.
I get so caught up, I'm using both of my ears and both of my eyes listening to you guys. I'm on the other side of the screen and I'm like a fan. I'm so happy to hear the inspiration, the information, the encouragement, the love, the passion. When I created this show, the Prison Freedom Show, folks, I didn't know it was going to be this big, this fast. I didn't know it was going to grow this way. And I want to thank Brother O for bringing so many special guests on, man, to our television network. We have 60 channels on the PIC TV network, and this is a show that's so wonderful because people can be in prison and still have freedom, and they can come out and have more freedom, and they can have a story. And then we have people who are helping folks like you guys. This is it means so much to me because this is the whole purpose of our show, to let everybody know there is a lifeline of love and encouragement. Um, Anybody want to give any love out to any other speakers tonight? I know all you guys got to say something about each other. Come on.
I would like to thank you personally, Brother O, Tim, Brock, everybody out there that's watching, that's doing their own thing to create change. People always talk about the violence. I always say prevention is the key to saving humanity. People that are loved, that are supported, that are given opportunities, they're not out here hurting other people. And the biggest investment we can make is in people. If we were to grab those $90 billion and put it in people, the world would change. And I just want to thank you, all of you, from the bottom of my heart. You are creating change, even if it's just one person at a time. It's like throwing a rock in the river. It does create a ripple effect. So thank you. You guys are awesome. God bless.
I really don't have anybody to shout out, but just briefly, Tim and Brock, could you talk about how being a member of PNAP, how it's impacted you? Because I know, Brock, you talked about it being a life-changing experience. So could both of you briefly just talk about how it's affected you, it's impacted your life?
Brock, why don't you go? I'll go after you.
Yeah, is there an echo? Briefly, I'll just say, being able to have any kind of relationship with anyone who's locked up is just extremely important. Being able to do any kind of inside outside organizing work is, it's life-changing for me, but also it's so critical for folks who are inside. Even just getting a letter from someone, can make someone's entire week. So for me, at least, just really being able to connect with folks also who have gotten out of prison and start building that community, right? Some of these folks I've become really close to, and I consider my community here. And yeah, it's been very humbling and just really incredible to, like Celia was saying, to just really be able to build those relationships together.
And so maybe I'll speak to a couple things. I've never thought of myself as super creative, as artistic, and this is the first time in my life. The Prison and Neighborhood Arts and Education Project has a huge arts component, and one of our leaders, Sarah Ross, is an artist. Damon Locks is another artist. We work with Aaron Hughes and others around the city who are doing incredible work. And there's something really challenging and invigorating and moving to me about people who spend their lives creatively trying to understand the world in new ways through art. And of course, so many of our students are artists. And so I don't consider myself an artist, but I've been really kind of pushed, I guess, hard to think about my own relationship to creativity, to art, to imagination, and how those things apply to things like prison abolition and political ideas as well. And so that's been a major issue for me. And I don't know if I hear some music. Are we going to commercial?
No, you good.
Okay.
I just wanted to let everybody know, man, they can tap their feet and dance while you're talking, man, because it sounds so good. You guys, I want to say to all of you guys, we're a television network based out of Washington, D.C. Do you think we need more programs like this? I just felt like we need to do a prison freedom channel. There's so much out here today, and our shows have educational programs, inspirational programs, entertainment, of course. But what do you guys think about being on PIC TV network? This is a network I created, and I'm create channels, and this is one of the channels that I created. Rock, what do you think about PIC TV network? What do you like about this?
I like that this is just a conversation. It's really refreshing. And yes, we need more programs like this. And we need to be able to pay more formerly incarcerated people, actually have opportunities where folks can get paid to do this work, because I know that's something that PNAP is working on and a lot of organizations, but really having those opportunities where folks can live and do what they love to do feels important.
Tim, what do you love about Pick TV Network? This is your first time on, man. You met some folks. You gave a presentation all over the country, man. What do you like about our network?
Yeah, I hope it won't be my last time. But it's really nice. I really appreciate having Chicago represented, both in the first show and this show. I appreciate meeting some new people. And actually, I've known Brock now for a while, but hearing new information from Brock about, their past and where you're from, Brock, and those sorts of things. Orion and I work closely in certain ways, but it's events like this where you learn different pieces of people's lives. And I really appreciate the personal elements, because I do think as much as, this is about changing laws, this is about changing systems and cultures. It's also about changing hearts and minds and hearing people's stories and interacting in that personal way, kind of like Brock mentioned. The only other thing I'll add too is that, do we need more programs? I think I mentioned before that yes, of course, but I also want to think about Angela Davis's organization, Critical Resistance, and the idea of prison abolition, that as much as we want to figure out ways to support people who are incarcerated, we also don't want to make better prisons. We also, as we want to figure out ways of supporting people who are in prison, want to figure out other alternatives to prison. The idea of PNAP is that we shouldn't exist in 20 years the way we are, because there should not be prisons the way there are now, where people are basically thrown away and put into dark cells with no light, no books, no communication. And so, it's an interesting balance to try to think about, how do you both think about being really supportive, expanding programming because we need it, but also keeping that larger goal in mind of, how do we dismantle this system that has been, as Celia eloquently said, just really so harmful to so many and does really no good for anyone.
When I hear you guys on talking, it's just a blessing to get education and to see that we are a network that's out there pushing something positive. This show is going to be repeated on all social media platforms and on the Pick TV Network channel 1000. Queen, we have the Queen on. Queen, talk about what you love about being on Pick TV Network, our network. This is your first time on.
Yeah. So first of all, I love the name, right? I love everything behind the name. That alone gives us a lot of power, because you're giving it back to the people, and it's the people that create change. It's the people that have the power, and sometimes we forget how powerful we really are. For me, it's an honor to be able to share and really talk about not just my life experience. I always say that when I'm speaking somewhere, because I'm on the front lines and I'm listening to trauma every day and I'm impacted by trauma every day, that when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking just for me. I'm speaking for thousands that look just like me, that don't have this opportunity to share the horrific things that are happening behind closed doors, that America should be shamed about and shameful, about what they have done to people like me and you for generations. Mass incarceration is just another form of slavery, and we know that. We understand that. We see the education, we see the map, we see the trail. We have all the data. I just don't know what they're doing with it. It's like, just keep spending money on collecting data, hurting people. And for me, being able to talk about these things and given a space to open up somebody else's heart and mind and compassion about what's really happening, I think is very, very powerful, because we're able to, I always say that the tongue paints what the eyes can't see. And I think that when we're able to share that, and when we're able to be uncomfortable and be vulnerable and share our pain, is when change happens. So I'm just grateful and thankful.
We're happy for all of you guys being on the Pick TV Network. Your first time will not be your last time. Brother O, you did it again, man. we talked today. You're my right-hand man for this television show. We've been talking a couple of weeks about bringing people on and making sure that the people that you bring on are educated, they're well informed, they have some history behind the subject matter. A plus, bro. A plus, man. A plus to you and everybody you have coming on the Prison Freedom Channel. And what I love about your story, you've been there, done that, and you coming out doing positive things, and you giving back. Giving back, bro. It feels so good, man. My wife said I'm the president, so I can't say bro. I can't say cool. You know, she said I'm the president of the television network. So Tim, I gotta kind of think about my language, man. But I feel so comfortable with you guys, man. And I think to be in a position where you can feel free and comfortable and talking to people. I think we relate to people sitting at home, relaxing, and some folks are just looking at us on their cell phone, you know, chilling out, and you're reaching everybody. Brother O, why was it so important for you to bring every presenter on tonight?
Well, because I've met them and I've known them, and I've seen the work, the sincerity that they have when it comes to the work that they're doing. And so that was why it was very important for me. You know, when you gave me the opportunity to put the people up that I wanted to put up to help build up this show, there was a list of people. And there were certain people that were at the top, and these are the people that are at the top, right? That were at the top when we began talking. And I could see it. I can envision the people that I wanted to come on. And so it was a no-brainer for me. And, you know, I'm glad that they were able to come on to tell their story, talk about what they're doing, because it's important for people to know about, giving others dreams, what that organization is doing. It's very important for people to know about PNAP. Without PNAP, there's a good chance that you and I wouldn't have even crossed paths because of the support that they've given me. The encouragement, which allows me to continue on and to fight to try to help empower other people who are incarcerated and formerly incarcerated and other marginalized people in general. You know, when I began my organization that I started, Sahu Creative, the intention was to help people who are incarcerated, other incarcerated artists, be able to provide them with an outlet to be able to speak their truth. But then I met other people who had not been incarcerated, but who also faced obstacles. And so some of the people who are actually part of Sahu Creative have never been incarcerated, but they faced obstacles coming from places where they don't have the resources to be able to express their truths. And so I'm just happy to be able to be a part of this, and hopefully we'll be able to grow from here on.
Yeah, we on the move, man. On Pick TV Network again, a brand new show, folks. You guys are watching this hit show on TV Network, the Prison Freedom Show. You want to be on this show, you can get in touch with us. And Brother O, I'm just putting him in closer to that cockpit, and he's my co-pilot, but he's going to be flying solo after a while. I'm going to put him up there, and he's going to be doing all of the programs by himself. I'm just getting him comfortable. He's doing a super good job. Now, folks, we're going to have everybody to understand that your support helps us so much because, again, those who are watching these programs, it costs for us to do what we do, and all these platforms cost. And we don't charge, but we need some help. So if you want to take a moment and scan the QR code, get your phone, put your phone right on that picture mode, and just scan that QR code, boom. And then it will show you how you can give, how you can support with Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, whatever you want to do. Hey, thank you. This guy's trying it. Oh, wow, this is great. You scan the QR code. And any amount you want to give, it helps so much. You know, some people say $10 is, no, that's not, yes, it is. $10 is a whole lot. You know, anything you want to give, 20, 30, 40, whatever you want to give, it helps the programs to stay alive. So all you got to do is scan that QR code. Once you scan that QR code right over there, boom, up there, It'll show you how you can give. It'll show you how you can support our programs and shows here on the Big Network, and you can come on. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about everybody watching our shows. Folks, we are going to have an after celebration, after talk studio session right after this program. It's going to be part 2, episode 3. We have these speakers come back, and Brother O will come back with me. We're going to talk about how good this was, and some of our guests may come back again, and you can chat in. It's your time to join us. We want all of you to chat in from the PIC TV Network YouTube, PIC TV Network Facebook, PIC TV Network audience. And when we say Twitter, I mean everybody around the world. You can tweet in right now on the PIC TV Network live as we go into this special after talk session. YouTube, we got the YouTube live on right now, Facebook live, and PIC TV Network channel 1000. I want to thank you for your time. Everybody on the stage, come on and give them a virtual wave, everybody, until we see you next time on the PIC TV Networks. Shalom, everybody. We'll see you on PIC TV Network. And don't forget, right after this, we're going to get ready for our PIC TV Network after show.
Count on me. Don't be worried. Cast all your troubles away. Wherever you're going, just know that I'll be there. Count on me. Put on your smile. No need to frown, 'cause I'm here. Just look to me, and it will be alright. Just take a breath and look around, 'cause I have never ever let you down. My love for you will never fail. I'll be here forever.
Count on me, put on your smile. No need to frown, 'cause I'm here. Just look to me, and it will be alright. Alright. Just take a breath, and look around. I have never ever let you down. My love for you will never fail. I'll be here forever.
You can count on me.
But you can count on me.
I know you're worried, you're afraid. Trust me, you can count on me.
Said I'll always be there, I'll never leave you. I know the others have failed, but I will be right there for you.
Just take a breath and look around. I'll never let you down.
Never let you down.
And I never will.
You can count on me.
You can count on me. I said I'll never let you down.
People come and they go,
I'll never
but
leave.
I'll be.
You can count on me.
Hey, folks, you made it to the end of the show. Don't forget the next show coming up. Don't touch that dial. Pick TV Network is on the move, and we're on the move with you. Now, if you want to be on Pick TV Network, all you have to do is take a moment and get in touch with our number one business advisor and manager who's going to get you on Pick TV Network. All you have to do is take a moment and call 215-609-5255, and you can be on the Pick TV Network. I'll see you on the next show on Pick TV Network. Thank you for your time, everybody.
The CDC is recommending that all adults receive the COVID booster vaccine. And additionally, we are also recommending our patients who are pregnant to also receive the COVID booster vaccines. And for me, it's super important, not only as a healthcare provider, but because I'm also pregnant and want to make sure that my pregnancy is as safe as possible.